Welcome to Game Reactor TV. We are here at the IT University in Copenhagen to check out Nordic Game Jam. And we have one of the organizers with us here.
Yeah, hello. My name is Gormlai and I'm one of the original founders of the Nordic Game Jam.
How did it start?
So it started actually because I wanted something like this, like a creative forum where I could just be free and try out new ideas without the constraints of the commercial constraints. Things had to be sold, and I used to work in big company, or for example at Deadline Games when I worked there. And of course, in a company like that, they had very commercial concerns. And whenever you started censoring yourselves when you thought about ideas and so on. I mean, it was a great place to live, to work. But you also want to try something different. It's also why we see, for example, IO. They're happy to send their employees here, so they can have a bit of creative freedom. So that's why I started this.
So rumor has it you're making a game about a monkey.
Yeah, we are definitely making a game about a monkey. It's a monkey escaping from a lab, trying to avoid the security camera. So it's pretty exciting. It's pretty early in the process, but we're hoping for a good game.
What's the main objective of the game to help the monkey escape?
Yeah, the main objective is the monkey has to get the key to get out of the lab, and he does that by hiding in a box. He has to avoid the camera, so when the camera is pointing at him, he has to be still inside the box, and when the camera goes off, he has to run in his little box to get the key and get out of the lab, with different obstacles on the way.
So will you be finished? Will you be done?
Of course, we will be done, and we will win great prizes and medals.
So how does the jam work? What are the people here doing, and what rules and constraints are they working under?
So just like here, so we have a theme that every game has to convey or constrain themselves to. And this year it's the deception. Other years we had other themes like as long as we have each other, we'll never run out of problems. That's a very current one, I think. That was from last year. And then we have, after that, we give out the theme. And then we have some group forming exercises. We give people 15 minutes to come up with ideas over the theme. So, what kind of game can I make about deception? And they go sit down, make pieces of paper. Then we have a long pitching session where they pitch their ideas to each other. And then, the ones that have the best ideas and can gather most people around their ideas, they make the teams. And then they just have 48 hours until 3 p.m. Sunday afternoon. Then the clock hits, and then, we pull the plug on the server. And if they upload by then, that's the deadline. And then we show the games.
The avatar is a small donkey who's trying to cheat on his wife because she's boring. So he's going to the long-legged blonde horses, trying to deceive them, making them think he's a horse. So when the horses are, going with their girl horses, he pushes them away and deceives them into thinking it's still the same horse. It's still the same horse. And then you get a lot of mule kids because of that, and that's your points. So you have to, keep a lookout for your wife, that she doesn't notice you, and at the same time, keep the same rhythm as the horse that was there before you.
So what kind of gameplay is it? Is it you said rhythm, which I'm not really want to ask more about, but how does it enter keeping the horses away and keeping the wife deceived? How does that work practically?
The wife is sitting around, the wife is sitting around watching television, and from time to time the commercial break is there, and then you hear the sound, and then you have to, keep quiet while she's looking. Stop what you're doing. So yeah.
I don't know what to say. We actually managed to find Jesper Nielsen here, who's an old colleague of ours, who's crossed over to the other side of the games industry. Or let's talk about Games Jam in general. Yeah. But what can you tell us about what's the concept and what are you supposed to do during the event?
Well, the general concept is that you make a game in 48 hours. That's the general gist about it. So usually when you make games, it takes a long time. Everybody in the industry knows that. And here you just make a game in 48 hours, and that means you can experiment more, you can take some risks. You're usually encouraged to take risk, and if you fail, then so what, you only wasted 48 hours. And it's also something where you just get together with new people or people you know and just try to form new teams and see how that works, and maybe go a little bit beyond your usual role. So right now I'm doing some programming and not usually focused on that, but that's what happens in this case. It's very casual, very laid back, but also really, really intense.
Do you have a donkey?
Not yet. It could be a character, I guess, but I actually don't think we have settled on a theme and anything graphically, so yeah, I don't know. I know there's a game out there that someone is trying to make where a donkey is raping a horse.
Yeah, we actually interviewed them.
Okay, I feel for you. They're quite disturbing. Yes.
So what I've understood is that it's grown from this year, from last year, quite a bit.
Yeah. So it's 250 now, which is wild. So in the beginning we always grew 100%, and then 2 years ago we were 150, and then the year after we were also around 150. We thought, okay, maybe it's the natural limit. But then this year we are 250. That's wild. We are the biggest game jam in the world for the 3rd time in a row.
Do you think you will grow after this? Have you reached the natural limit now?
I don't know. We have actually had to say no to a lot of people. So especially we have maybe some very young game developers, also high school students who just want to try out, and also more game developers from professional companies coming in. And we have people from Gotland, from Germany, from Holland flying in. It's fantastic.
This is going to be the trophy for the winner of the Nordic Game Jam this year. It's going to be a traveling trophy. It's based on the concept from Katamari Damacy. You roll a ball around and it gathers all sorts of stuff. And this is all game-related objects. And
Well, those are die, of course, and some miniatures.
some playing pieces and Trivial Pursuit and little figurines from Dungeons and Dragons. And to top it off, we have a controller, one of the old school controllers, and it's been modified to hold a USB key, which is going to contain all the previous winners from Nordic Game Jam as well as this year's. And then it's going to be passed on along the years, and each group who wins has a responsibility to add to the trophy.
Okay, so what's this game about?
Well, it's about you have a donkey, and we're placing on the iPhone, and you have a small carrot that you move around, and then the donkey follows the carrot, and then you have to obviously kill the donkey, as you do.
You have to kill the donkey?
Of course.
Why?
We haven't figured that out yet, but I guess that'll come at some point. Donkeys are evil. Yes, that's the main reason. Well, nobody likes donkeys anyway, so.
So you are the carrot and you want to kill the donkey?
Well, no, you have a carrot on a string, and then you sort of move the carrot around. So it's kind of like you're deceiving the donkey to think that you're actually doing something good for it, which you aren't. You're trying to kill it for some reason that we haven't figured out yet.
This entire convention is turning into something about donkeys. You're not the only guys working on a game around donkeys, we've discovered. We've heard a lot about donkeys and monkeys.
Yeah, so that's because of the global game jam. So actually, even though we started at 5 p.m. in the afternoon here, it's all local time. So we have to synchronize all over the world. So in New Zealand, they start 12 hours before we do. And so in order to prevent these guys from cheating, we have to come up with some local themes. And for our time zone, it was you had to use at least a key, monkey, or donkey in your game. so that'll be interesting how that'll work.